Welcome back to the podcast. Audio only for the next while due to restrictions and my laptop getting itself into a state. But you'll have to take my word for it because in the place of Tom, we have Mark.
Hello there.
Because Tom is unfortunately sick and sick away with all of our news. So Mark has pulled together news for us rather graciously.
And quickly. We'll see how successful that is.
And Irvin, as always, because if he wasn't here, you couldn't hear us, considering he does all the audio.
And I just turned you down.
Oh, thanks. All right, so Mark, news, what we got? It's going to be quite broad, though. We should probably say that purely because...
Quite broad, quite quick. It's not really covered much in a while, so...
Yeah, so it's just December and so on.
One of the largest bits of news, of course, is that Star Wars has become not only the largest grossing film ever in the US, also the UK now as well. Mm-hmm. It's on its way to the highest grossing film of all time, but will it make it? We don't know.
Probably. I might go and see it again.
Because it's still not opened in China yet. Is that still...
Yeah,
China's always one of the last to see, and it just depends though, because the audience in like China, Japan, they go and see such different films that are big over there are generally
not big over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they help make like Jurassic World huge.
Yeah, exactly. Same with Fast and Furious and things like they hit huge.
Pacific Rim.
Need for Speed was huge over there.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of promotion for Star Wars over there, but how that'll translate into actual ticket sales. But
it's really interesting as well because Star Wars is one of those films that people really want to rewatch. Like I don't know anyone who has only seen it once. Really,
it's so intense. It gets better the more you see it.
Yeah, but.
Oh, that's running.
And the fact that without Tron, they've claimed the Tron audience as well. Since they cancelled that.
But remember when you want to see Star Wars when you've got Tron.
Exactly. So next, what have we got else?
Small thing, but it's big for the future. Netflix has announced it's expanding, almost tripling the amount of countries it's available in, with over 130 new countries.
Netflix is taking over the world, guys. It's happening. It's the new Skynet.
That's very true, but it's also, the way society is going. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a bad thing.
I wonder if this is going to change, because we're already seeing this thing. It's the sequel to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where it was getting simultaneous release with cinema and Netflix.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's going to, because is cinema really? It's for films that they don't think will get big cinema releases. Do you think that's probably the better move to make?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, look at the Ridiculous Six. I mean, it's by no means a good movie, but
did you actually watch it?
Yeah, I watched it.
Oh my god, you watched it!
But it's the most.
I was joking earlier.
It's the most viewed thing on Netflix ever.
Really?
Ever? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's shocking.
It is shocking.
At Daredevil.
But that's the thing. I mean, it's for all intents and purposes, it's free to watch. I mean, you've already got your subscription.
Yeah.
It's a big budget film. You're not going to see anywhere else.
And it's promotional as well. It's very relevant to the promotion of Hateful Eight. And since more people will probably see that than Hateful Eight.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's very true. And also Netflix they're pushing forward with I can't remember what I was going to say.
Well, because it's already been pushing especially all the different devices that support it and all that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Although, have you seen the competition? What I was going to say, a lot of credit actually to Amazon, because remember when Amazon Prime was just a way of getting paying £40 and you would just get delivery. To get delivery faster and for free. Well, no, included in it. Yeah. You always got the best delivery, and now it's increased to this point where they're winning. Their shows are getting a lot of awards, and they're definitely got a huge budget behind it. When you see trailers for what's the one the castle?
The Man in the High Castle.
Man in the High Castle, and Mr. Robot, stuff like that. And they're all getting these awards, but as well as that, they're also giving you the option to download to your to a device and take it on the go with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's at least all these different streaming services are really pushing what they can offer you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing so much as well. I mean, it's fresh in everyone's mind as well, but Making a Murderer, I mean, Netflix saved that from not being released. I mean,
I didn't know that. What was the story behind it?
The most recent thing.
Yeah, I know. I've heard the massive boom behind this and the whole series, but I didn't know it wasn't going to be made.
No, it was being made for 10 years. It's it's a 10-year documentary following Stephen Avery.
I think was it just distribution that it fell down with?
No.
It's the topic, maybe.
It's the topic. Like, he's essentially framed for murder. I mean, I don't want to spoil the whole thing.
But it's undermining
extremely
the
worth
American
watching.
justice system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then because it was being made before Netflix came on board, it was being made by two small budget filmmakers, and they were going to be crushed by the legal system. And then Netflix's lawyers stepped in and basically saved it. So it's extremely
and
well
also
made.
especially as well, like how
Have you watched all of it?
Not yet. I haven't finished it.
I'm not sure if there'd be any sort of like jurisdiction things as well with like Netflix, since it operates in so many different territories.
Well, there already is. I mean, if you look at the releases available on just American Netflix, it's so different to the UK, but with the global expansion that might change, because they've said they wanted to do that because
a simultaneous structure.
Because the reason it was the way it was, the way it is because it started out in America, had the most subscriptions, and as far as licensing went, that was the way they could distribute everything. And the UK has been growing, of course, but it doesn't have as big a catalog. But now they want to kind of combine it all into one pot and just have everything everywhere, which I think would be great.
Well, when you look at even like I know someone who's got Canadian Netflix because of the sports stuff they get through it. It's mental how different it is. But like you said, it makes much more sense. It stops people from downloading stuff. You just get everything at the same time through it. So
for really not that much money.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially like quality wise and all that as well. I just want to see it also as well if this really starts to kill pay-per-views and all that as well.
Yeah, exactly. But then those companies would probably try and get involved with Netflix to a degree. Netflix has been very open to people, like you said, even in this, they go out of their way to acquire things or to work with other companies in a way that they both benefit.
Well, yeah, I mean, Adam Sandler's signed a 3-movie deal.
Is it only 3?
Is it? Well, I'm not sure.
I thought it was like 5, but either way.
Maybe it is, but either way, they're not regretting their investment.
Yeah.
But still, moving on.
And what's the next one?
Just sort of jumping into Marvel stuff, the Daredevil Season 2 trailer.
The summary of Season 1.
Things happen.
But we got a release date with it, at least.
Yeah.
It was always kind of assumed that it was going to be releasing around the same time. But I wasn't quite sure because we've had so many things, like, when one of these series does well, will they be able to give it a season 2 straight away the next year every time? Because the thing is, they've also got like Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and they've said both those are still coming.
And
Defenders. So Daredevil had the luck of coming out first.
Yeah, but they are separate productions, and they're not for what they are. They're quite low budget, so they're not difficult to do. I mean, it's not like, apart from obviously actors crossing over, you don't need the Luke Cage team to make Jessica Jones season 2.
It's only the producers that are the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because the showrunners are all different.
And it's the same universe, I'll use the same sets, the same
and so on,
like everything will be related. So I don't think it's going to be as difficult as you'd think.
Yeah, I wonder what the recording time is that's different, because a film's usually around 20, 30 days. Well, it can be anywhere from 15 to 30 days for a film a lot of the time when they record them.
It can be a lot longer.
Well, usually they say for primary shooting, it's usually around that.
Revenant was months.
Was it actually months?
Yeah, it's like 3 months.
And Birdman, it was like...
Yeah, well, that's just...
Yeah.
That's just...
It was on a theater. Yeah.
But that was the style... But that's when it comes to the style of it.
Hateful Eight was quite long as well.
Yeah, but
then you've also...
all the outdoorsy stuff and...
But that's what I was saying, in the way that these things are done, it doesn't lend itself as much to, reshoots and post-production and things. It's all... That's the glory of Daredevil. It's so gritty. It's so, like, if a mistake is made, it's left in, because that's...
It kind of adds to the groundedness.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm just kind of wondering if it's significantly shorter.
That's what I want, is more Daredevil just tripping up.
It's not necessarily significantly shorter, because you're trying to get 10, 12, 14 hours of actual footage out of it, as opposed to 2 or 3. So it's still it'll be a long filming process, but I don't imagine the post-production is as intense.
Because it is very grounded and stuff as well. So
all the filters,
edit while you shoot and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing, because
I just edit on my phone,
because it's coming out a month earlier actually, because it was April last year I think, and now it's March. It's going to be coming out. I'll look up the specific date while we're...
I'm trying to remember, so the 16th or 17th, because it was the week before Batman vs Superman. Because everyone's like, it's going to fight each other.
Exactly. It's because it's within the week, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's...
I don't know, but that's thing. Batman vs Superman versus Daredevil.
So what do you think? Are we going to get Jessica Jones season 2, or do you think that'll be tying with Luke Cage? Because Luke Cage is later this year.
Yeah.
Do you think it might just be better to do? It's because I know what you said. They
could have run
they
the
don't
splits
have to
around.
overlap, but the thing
Yeah.
is, timeline wise,
Oh yeah.
it depends.
Well, Luke Cage is quite heavy in Jessica Jones.
Yeah,
so-
exactly.
I mean, do you feel Jessica Jones' story is told? Not really. But
No.
then there's lots more going on with the other series. I mean, who's not saying Jessica Jones isn't going to show up in Daredevil season 2?
Yeah, I think they're kind of the only.
Jessica Jones is the Punisher.
I think
Twist.
they're all going to tie into that company that created everything. They she got her powers from the chemicals. Luke Cage
Yeah,
probably got
yeah.
his powers from the testing. What was it that gave Daredevil his powers?
Radioactive waste.
More chemicals. They're all getting their powers from chemicals. So I'm wondering if it's
In
that
Hell's
company.
Kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hell's Kitchen, eh? What a wonderful place.
Still, yeah, excited for Daredevil. There's not much to say because we didn't see much, but
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
a summary. With
Yeah,
a Punisher skull at the end.
yeah, but it's coming and it's coming fast, so that's crazy.
It's going to be interesting.
It's
how the
March
balance-
18th, by the way.
18th.
March
I
18th.
thought it was the 18th.
It's going to be interesting how the balance works between, like, Kingpin and Punisher and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, do you think is D'Onofrio confirmed to come back for this?
Couldn't tell you.
Or is his wife going to be like, I'm the Kingpin now. Look at me. That's her voice. Perfect impression.
Put on some weight.
Dead on. Shave her head. Method it to all hell.
Practices, like, slamming car doors.
Staring at paint for a long time.
The Vinnie Jones method. Moving on, other Marvel news, the whole Doctor Strange reveal. Costume, sets,
You seem
concept
very
art.
excited by that. I'm so excited.
Looks all right.
Yeah,
He looks
He looks the part.
because I remember he wasn't first in line. It was Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
But Joaquin Phoenix said he had no faith in his ability to do a big budget special effects driven
Yeah.
film.
Oh no, poor Joaquin. You
But
can do it.
But the first thing I thought was
He could do it, but he couldn't do Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix looked like, I thought when I looked at him and I knew it's when you see him with a mustache, I was like, oh, he looks just like Doctor Strange. But when I saw these pictures, it's the exact same with
Cucumber patch.
with Cucumber Patch. he looks the part. It's,
does.
It's another sort of Deadpool scenario where he looks 100% as he should. He looks
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
He is the character.
Look at my sweeping cloak.
And then all the other concept art as well. You see Sanctum Sanctorum, which
Yeah, exactly.
Makes me very excited.
Production design looks really,
yeah,
really good.
yeah, it's very
Spot on.
very high quality. And then there's all the promotional artwork that's coming out as well
Exactly, yeah.
of his mystical powers. But it all looks the part, and I have hope for it.
Yeah. Well, have you
Like all Marvel films.
Have you heard about the approach to it? It's kind of supposed to be kind of a mystical horror sort
Yeah,
of film.
yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
Marvel's idea of kind of moving into genres rather than just making them all, even though they do all have
Make
that
them
kind
all
of like
quite
Even though
serious.
they're all
Yeah.
heading towards
the same kind of
Thanos.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although Doctor Strange again, do you think this film will be that heavily entrenched in Marvel? Or do you think it's going to be one of these ones
More
that
like Guardians
is in the
or
universe,
like-
but
yeah.
it doesn't necessarily feed directly into it?
Well, I mean, the Guardians, has the benefit of being not in this galaxy, well, not on Earth.
Doctor Strange might not be in this plane for a lot of it.
He's mentioned in Winter Soldier.
True.
So
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. It's like the TV series. We get nods to stuff.
yeah,
But do you think it'll be that?
Oh, there's that guy. He's a bit strange.
Actually, thinking about it, he does have to be involved because he will be related to one of the stones probably.
exactly.
So-
it's the mystic part of it is very. And obviously, Guardians are going to be coming into it at some point because that's where Thanos is.
Yeah.
But I think Doctor Strange is going to be quite key to what they're trying to do,
Yeah.
especially in Phase 3.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping the tone of this one hits the kind of tone I wish the Thor films hit. The Thor films were really quite lighthearted and it worked quite well,
Yeah.
but it kind of did something about the way those films worked,
They're a bit more
subtracted from it
flippant and less witty, yeah.
Exactly. There's it's one of those things I can't put my finger
Yeah.
on what it is, but
Just
something doesn't quite
The
fit.
first one succeeded with having a bit more heft, and then the second one was just so much more.
Yeah, exactly. There's something not quite grounded in it that
Yeah.
for it to work, and I can't think what it is. And for the third one, I thought because they're doing something Ragnarok based, it could be something quite big.
Yeah.
But they've hired a comedian. Although I like the guy they've hired someone to add humor to it. Like too specific.
Okay.
They've hired a guy to specifically add humor to Thor in the third film. Do you know who it is, Mark?
No?
It's the guy who wrote What We Do in the Shadows.
Really?
With the guy from Flight of the Conchords.
Amazing.
I remember his name is Tally something.
Yeah. It's a very New Zealandy name.
Yeah, but he's doing that, and
That's
again
amazing.
he's really funny. But again, I'm not sure. They're getting Kenneth Branagh back, supposedly, is a rumor. I'm not sure if he's...
No,
they actually
they've already
confirmed
got...
somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is...
Taika Waititi.
Yes.
Amazing.
But I don't know, it's really weird. Thor has really struggled to hit that kind of tone.
Yeah. I think, though, is he actually directing as well?
Who?
Taika Waititi.
I have no idea. Like, this is the first.
Yeah.
But I remember they specifically said they hired him because they needed humor.
Yeah, yeah.
In the Thor films, and because they said it was quite a dark subject thing, but
No, he's not.
but it's,
No, yes, he is actually. He is.
he's directing
He's
it.
directing it.
Yeah.
So that's an odd choice. So this is a really I think his type of humor is really funny from what I've seen and what we do in the
Yeah.
shadows. But him doing an apocalyptic Thor film is a really weird choice.
I wonder if Kenneth Branagh might be helping out in producing, maybe.
Yeah.
So he might have a wee
Because
bit to say.
Kenneth Branagh is the reason they got all these people originally.
Yeah,
The reason they got Anthony Hopkins and the reason they got Natalie Portman. They all said it was because
To work with
they
Kenneth.
wanted with Kenneth Branagh because he's so known through theatre.
Yeah.
Because he actually has his own-
Gilderoy.
yeah, Gilderoy
Lockhart.
winner of Best Smile. He's because he has the Kenneth Branagh Theatre Company.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's got so much weight behind his name. And he was in The Boat That Rocked.
Still, moving off topic. It's all interesting. Which we should move on.
Okay, and what is the...
We've got the linesman.
Don't know how much we can really talk about it, but of course, probably the biggest news is BAFTA nominations
True.
and, by extension, Golden Globe Awards, which are today.
They are today, yeah. But the BAFTAs, because we're in the UK, it makes more sense. That's the one most prevalent to us.
The BAFTAs are the most prevalent.
And
you're right.
we've all seen the nominations, and just to get kind of thoughts on that. So, what are everyone's thoughts on? Like, what are the things that stand out then? If what was in it or was missed?
Films that aren't out yet that are still like classed for this year,
Yeah.
not last year.
Things,
My favorite
things that are up-
theoretical films.
Yeah.
things that are up for Best Picture and Best Screenplay that we've not seen and can't
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, which I kind of think you do.
Sundance doesn't count.
Yeah, maybe the BAFTAs should kind of take into account what is actually here.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they were supposed to do. The whole point of the BAFTA, it's supposed to what's shown on British screens in the previous year.
What reflects the British people.
Yeah, but in
Yeah.
the previous year, in 2015.
exactly,
So the
yeah.
cutoff would be 31st of December. But, you can't do that when the Oscars, the Golden Globes, everything, they're focusing on things like The Revenant. I mean, if the BAFTAs didn't do that next year, no one's going to care.
Yeah.
Although you got you got Tarantino doing the cheeky thing with doing that limited release of was it 75 mil
70.
70 mil film release where he did
in London.
Glasgow as well.
Glasgow,
It was like
yeah.
it was a few
The Odeons, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole controversy that's not worth discussing.
of the Cineworld thing. People have taken
Well,
it as
not
the
just the cinema
Yeah.
thing.
yeah.
but
People have taken it as like the apocalypse, and it's like a slight to them.
I know.
Which I find it a bit. mental.
offended. How can I not? I pay for cinema card.
My
White
card
mate.
is useless. Yeah, no, but
people are too
What
used.
could get one film?
So the thing that stood out most for me on a personal level is Sicario is hardly featured, which I
Yeah.
thought was
It's only like best
possibly
supporting
the
in
best film
music
of the
and
year.
yeah.
Best
it was an
supporting
amazing film. But it wasn't in the cinema very long here, was it?
No.
It was a really short
Small
release.
release, yeah.
I think it was out actually the week after I saw it. Because me and you both saw it the same week.
Yeah.
And then I think it was gone the next
So I
week.
think it was only for 2
I
or 3
know.
weeks. Yeah.
I know, because you were like, oh, definitely see it. And I was like, I'll see it next week, and it's gone.
Yeah.
And it's got
What about you? You mentioned
I'm really happy Ex Machina's in it. And also,
yeah,
as
of
well,
course.
it came out in January last year, so it stood the test of time.
I know.
Which a good movie should do.
That's what I was going to say. I'm really happy that Alex Garland is getting he's got a debut for writer, director, or producer, which he's technically debut. He has
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is his debut as a director, but he's been involved in film with so many big names for so long. He has so much experience.
Yeah.
Plus, he was a novelist. He's been a novelist and a screenwriter.
Yeah.
He's written for games. He's done,
Yeah.
and then he's done so
And
much.
it's nice though, because like you said, like Ex Machina, that he's finally found his thing that he likes.
It was an absolutely fantastic film.
Also, every
Yeah.
character's maxed in Destiny, so I don't know how he's had the time to do all this.
Yeah.
He's
Oh yeah. But the most disappointing thing of all this is that Tom Hardy wasn't nominated twice for like best actor.
Best actor and supporting actor for Legend.
Imagine if he could win both.
Yeah, and then he just fights with himself when he gets them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the one that stood for me was Alex Garland, because Ex Machina is quite prevalent through it.
Yeah,
and it's not even just in the awards you'd expect, maybe, because
it's a brilliant British film.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And because their budget was quite small for
It
what
was,
they did, but he said he used it so well.
14, 16. Yeah.
But he used the budget so well.
Yeah.
He said that in interviews, like he
Yeah.
went to a studio he trusted with doing the special effects and
Oh, and
everything.
special effects are gorgeous. Like,
Because they had to matter where they were, and they used that. It's all isolated in that one space.
yeah.
And Oscar Isaac, again, you can barely recognize him from film to film.
Yeah.
And Dom Hall as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic performances from both.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you were saying the as far as
And
a
how
lot of
could
the
you
big
forget AV?
as far as the big blockbuster films go, you mentioned to me the special effects category actually looks. So it's all they're all quite prominent films or big films we've sort of
Yeah, because it's Ant-Man, Star Wars, Mad Max.
Yeah.
What else is in it?
Oh, here we go.
I think Ex Machina's in it.
It's Ant-Man, Ex Machina, Mad Max, The Martian, and Star Wars. So they're all prevalent films, and they've all done pretty well. Ant-Man's one of the ones that people would say maybe,
And especially when it's like all these films that you remember, you know, is it just
exactly.
like, oh, here's this film. Yeah, it's not
really
this year.
obscure,
It's being released like 4 weeks from now to get technically in, you know, that you'll remember for a day.
it was released in this one projector in the Isle of Man.
Yeah,
So
and it's like,
counts.
if your film is as good as it is, just let it run and get nominated next year in the year that it's been released at. But it's like fair enough when it is like when they have like different release dates for different territories, like it's already out in the US.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
You know,
But
this is Britain.
But these are the categories that I think they've done quite a good job of balancing a lot of these things through.
Yeah.
While the Oscars, like you said, they do that thing where it is they have essentially these are your RE sort of typical Oscar films, which are all like lead actor and everything, and then after that you've got the ones that you don't even see on TV, which are like the special effects and things like that, and that's the ones where the blockbusters go in. Well, this has been like I was really happy to see Ex Machina on there.
Yeah.
And
I know
Ant-Man as well.
It's got a lot of noms.
Yeah, it's got quite a few because it's because again it has the special effects kind of things of a blockbuster, but then at the same time the acting is excellent, the directing is excellent, and the writing as well. Because I think he definitely wrote it and directed it.
Yeah. Because he's up for best debut and also original screenplay. And Alicia Vikander's in both leading and supporting.
No, exactly.
Even though like her role in that is a totally lead role.
Yeah.
So is that as covered the news?
More or less. I just quickly, the thing that stood out, going back to the special effects there, is that Star Wars is the least impressive film for me in that list.
Yeah.
Like everything else is stunning.
Especially because I would have just put in Chappie.
Yeah.
Just for Chappie alone.
It was a gorgeous creation.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Wars is Star Wars, so of course it's going to be there. But
it's also
for me,
also lent more to the production design and that sort of thing.
The physical production is great. I mean, it is very good, but out of the list, it's at the bottom
the weakest.
For me.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see who takes it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Ant-Man's in there over Age of Ultron, because how they used the scale issues was really fun and creative.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
The end of the news.
Okay, that was the end of the news.
Hot topic.
Yeah.
Hot topic.
Okay, so we'll go straight forward into talking about the film which we've all seen.
The Hateful Eight.
The Hateful Eight, yes. And
Sorry,
the one with
not
Adam
the-
Sandler.
Not the Ridiculous Six.
One of Adam Sandler's greatest films, but I never saw him.
Oh, I said that I seen the Sad Seven.
So, first of all, you two have both seen... Have you guys seen all of Tarantino's films then?
Yes.
All apart from Death Proof.
All apart from Death Proof. Well, this is where...
Poor choice.
Oh,
this
this is me and Craig fill each other in.
Well, I am going to say that I am coming in here from a very interesting point where until this film, the only Quentin Tarantino film I have seen was Death Proof. Out of all of the others.
Solid start.
Only one I'd seen.
Me and you make a mark.
I know. Irv plus Craig equal Mark.
Combine.
I know. If I got on your shoulders, we'd probably be around his height.
We could take him.
Fusion.
But the I'm coming into this from. Although someone has said to me already, "Oh, but you don't know his films." Like, should that really matter?
Not at all.
It shouldn't matter. So I'm coming in from a very sort of
neutral perspective.
Neutral perspective, but you know what he's famous for.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
his style.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like, how can you not? So
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into it. So what did everyone think of the film? We should just generally go and say what we actually sort of thought
So
of
this
it.
is
We'll
like
go into details from there.
non-spoilers first.
Yeah,
loved it.
You loved it.
Loved it.
Loved it. Irv?
Not sure. It's got great moments, but it's way too long. Well, like for what I know some.
I had an interval, Mark.
The interval.
Yeah.
The interval wasn't necessary. I mean, I think it's his best written film he's done.
Well, it's the second attempt at this film as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, but every
because I had
it
the
got
big
leaked.
leak, didn't it? Yeah.
Like, but,
you rewrote it.
Every script.
I'll just
goes
make
through-
it longer.
Every script goes through changes.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
Plus, apparently, he does cut his scripts in half a lot of the time. Like he has, well, not literally cuts
Yeah,
in
because
half.
sometimes like he writes a book behind it.
He said he writes a really long script and then he essentially has to cut it right down. That's why
Yeah,
he's talked
yeah.
about TV before.
He just didn't cut it down enough.
My opinion as well is very similar to Irv's. When I look back on it, the thing is, when I look back on it, I keep thinking, actually, there's some really good parts of that film, and I really did enjoy it. His dialogue, like you said, he's known for his dialogue. His dialogue was really good at points, and he does have those little lines that are building up to something, and then he has a little twist at the end of the line, and it makes you laugh.
Yeah.
He's really good at that. But it did go on to. I'll get into reasons why, like when we start breaking down things. But I did think it did go a bit too long. But I can understand why it went too long to a point.
And also, I think also like a big thing could matter though, like who you see it with. 'Cause I think, did you have like a pretty good crowd for when you seen it?
There was about 4 people in the cinema.
Oh, okay. Because we had like sort of like Tarantino bros, like all these like
There were
dudes
people-
like, yeah, it was so good when that guy got killed. Yeah, that was awesome. But like they didn't laugh like lots, and I was like, oh.
Okay.
Yeah, it was weird. Like
Yeah.
I always say, Steph is the one that laughs all the time in the cinema.
Oh, Steph was great. She was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
no.
She says everything out loud. But
Yeah.
the issue was, like, there were people all around us talking about Tarantino films.
Yeah.
But they didn't really say anything with stuff or really getting, like, there were only a couple of laugh points, even though, like, there were loads of funny parts in that
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
Or loads of over the top parts in that film.
Well, you need that. But,
Loads of splooge.
But
well, I think the
how do you
thing-
think it looked as well?
gorgeous?
Yeah, I was
beautifully shot,
But do you
yeah.
not think the opening shot makes it look like it's quite grainy and quite weird after? Like,
That's the Panavision.
yeah, and then it
Yeah.
just eventually but when you saw it, it's like the shooting of that film was so good. I was saying to
Yeah.
Irv, like the camera movement doesn't have a common theme through it. Like it's never like it's not like Birdman where everything has this same way. Like it's
Yeah.
you expect these certain shifts. This had so many different types of shooting, and I said like there's parts where they have pan out shots that bring everything in and
Just
so
like,
on.
yeah, all the off low shots and all that. It was really
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Well,
Good mix
the opening scene, the credit scene, you're focusing on that statue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the long pan for what was it, probably about 4 minutes or something.
4 or 5 minutes, yeah.
And all the time you've got that that carriage coming into shot. I mean, that shot alone would have taken so long to set up
Yeah.
and the patience to make it work.
Yeah.
But what a shot!
I know you can respect like the craft behind it, where like
That's why I think it went long. It's
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he's very it's quite obvious that Quentin Tarantino's really
he loves
into,
what he does.
Yeah, exactly.
Loves production.
And it's very much it's a tribute to Western filmmaking, which is about holding shots and long shots and conveying space. And to do that, he is literally just taking these shots and it's building up space and momentum and like setting the kind of pace of the film. But
Yeah.
he does it often.
But talking about the pace of the film, that for me was one of its strongest points. I mean, I'm going to cut you out a little bit here and talk quickly about Inglourious Bastards, which is personally my favorite Tarantino film. But the finest part of that film is the opening chapter. Like, I'm sure you'll agree.
I think you've shown it to me, actually. You said I should see it, and then you showed me.
With Christoph Waltz, the Jew hunter approaching the house in France. The guy's got Jews in his basement. Christoph Waltz knows this, but the whole point of that is the scene building, the holding things out, building the tension, not only just through like awkward silences and things like that, but the camera work, the spikes of music and all that builds that scene. I think it's one of the best things he's ever done. Once they get to the haberdashery and Hateful Eight, it's that scene extended over the rest of the film. I mean, it's all building to something. Everyone knows it's building to something, but you don't know what. That's the whole point of it. And that, for me, is the strongest point, the strongest argument for it being so long, is this tension is extended, and that just makes the characters so much more interesting.
I think it would have been better if it didn't have an interval, though, because I found myself talking about it in halves. As in, this half is stronger than this half to a degree.
Yeah.
Well, if it didn't have that interval, I feel like it would have just been okay. And I don't think it's right that I should think of it that way, but it's just the way you kind of do it in your head.
No, I completely agree, but at the same time, that's kind of what Tarantino wanted. I mean, you know, because the way it comes back after the interval, I mean, it's
the narration drops you in and says it has been this. Yeah.
So I mean, you've got Quentin narrating over what's happened in basically what happened in the interval. So
I can see it being a thing where he makes them divide it into 2 discs, so people have to do that to a degree.
Yeah.
I think that could be a possibility with it, because that's the only way I could see that actually happening on a release.
It's probably not the best way to do it. I think I just fade to black for
just fade out seconds. And then come back.
Like, there's ways to do
and
it.
Go get yourself a cup of tea.
But it's such an arty thing to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the whole picture house thing that he's wanting to try, and it's the whole Ben-Hur. He's trying to the old Western thing he wants to bring back. That was this whole idea behind the Roadshow and using the Panavision cameras.
That's one thing about the look of it as well, though. It looked like, even though it's obviously it's really crisp,
like the
filmmaking,
titles and all that as well.
But even though it's really crisp looking and looks like the quality of it looks amazing, like every close up camera, I remember thinking like, this looks so good. But it still feels so distinctly Western. Like it's
got the grainy twinge.
It's like when you look at 3:10 to Yuma, by contrast, that's a really claustrophobic film. And it's really closed in, but this felt like an old Western with modern sensibilities to it.
You can compare it to Django.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Django, that's the thing.
That's a good point.
When I compare it to Death Proof.
Well, you could compare it to Death Proof.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like the cabin felt, you never felt claustrophobic in the cabin.
Yeah. But it's the cinematography of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it worked so well.
Ultimate widescreen is fantastic.
And what about the music as far as it, because it's
the first time he's worked with a composer. And
how long has it been since his composers?
Second time. He worked with him for a little bit of Django and said he was never going to work with him again.
Yeah. Quentin Tarantino always changing his mind.
But isn't he like 100? Or something? Isn't he like 100?
Oh, it was like 78 or
he is really old. But he's
because he hasn't done a Western in like 40 years.
Yeah, exactly. So what did you think of that? Because he usually just does soundtracks, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But there was elements of soundtrack in this, obviously. But
no, the music was brilliant. I mean, that was what I was meaning by the way the scenes are set up,
it works.
Punctuated by this.
Because that'll be another reason why it really draws out, was to make the most of. You know, he's got Ennio Morricone doing the score.
It was always built like tension building, or it was, like you said, it was really accenting something that was already happening. So it was really good. It wasn't ever invasive, or it wasn't ever overpowering. Well, if it was overpowering at points, it was because that was the intended sort of tone to it. So the music I thought was really good, but it's not one of those things I look back and think about the music of a scene, because it kind of just worked with what was going on.
Well, fair enough. I mean, that's one of the things that sticks in my mind, was the music punctuating the silences. I mean, Silent Night as well. That was glorious.
Inglorious.
Hey, wordplay.
So performances.
Yeah, well, this was it was a big ensemble cast again.
Oh yeah. Lots of Tarantino veterans.
It's weird though, because you think like, oh, this was a standout, but then you instantly change your mind. You're like, they're all standouts.
Yeah.
Because Jennifer Jason Leigh, she just chews up all the scenery, gets put through so much stuff in that film.
They did such a good job with playing with your sympathy for people, because there were points where you were like, oh, I like this guy, but then they always found a way of making you dislike them at different points. So it's quite good. Like, it's like you said to me, it's like they are genuinely hateful. Like,
it plays into the title of the film. So
yeah, like they all have reasons for you to like them at points and dislike them at other points.
You associate with them for certain things, but then kind of back away.
You can't. It's not like what they do with Captain America, where you have a person that you can hone in on, and that's the person you trust, and you don't know who else to trust.
Yeah.
It's you don't have a voice. There's no voice.
Interesting comparison.
Oh,
But
that'd be amazing.
But you know what you mean. That's how they
I know
do.
what you mean.
It's not how you do a spy.
if Tarantino did Captain America.
It's not how you do a spy thriller where, or like any kind of spy thriller where you have one person that is your sort of moral person that you can reflect on, and then you don't know who else to trust. You didn't have that in this because every person was someone that. There was no reason to completely sympathize or throw in with each person.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't trust anyone.
That's
And that was the circumstance.
yeah.
of it.
That's the whole point of the film for me. I mean, it is.
It's all about misdirection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even when they get going, it's all everyone's story when they're getting in the carriage and all that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Who were they? I think it's really hard to kind of pick because everyone had their moments. Walton Goggins, it was great.
Yeah,
he comes in so hammy,
Yeah.
but he's just his acting goes up and down. Like not up and down, but you know what I mean. His tone changes,
And especially like
so
my
often.
first callback from him was like, oh, it's the bad guy from Shanghai Noon.
Yeah, Walton Goggins was great. in it.
Yeah.
And he got to experiment with that character in Django. Again, I'm going back to something you haven't seen, but he's in Django as well.
It's the same character.
Not the same character. No,
but
the same personality of character.
Yeah.
The same, like you say, hammy kind of
over the top,
cartoonish almost. But he got to experiment with that in Django and then go full on in the Hateful Eight. It was brilliant for me. Tim Roth was.
Oh, we were saying that was the
Yeah.
one who stood out to us straight away.
I mean,
Just as soon as he was like, Oswaldo, and it's like, done.
I mean, it's the British nature, but it's
He said he
he's
was
very
told
very much channeling Christoph Waltz,
Yeah,
very much
yeah.
from Inglourious Bastards and Django. Craig, you need to see these films.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's that character, it's that English, that
gent.
that European dandy, as it were,
Yeah.
that Tarantino's brought into his scripts recently, which is, because obviously he discovered Christoph Waltz for the Western, well, not the Western because he's German, but
Yeah.
for the English speaking market, I
Audiences,
suppose, the English speaking
He
audiences.
made him a mainstream actor. essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which and his acting, his characters are fantastic, and Tim Roth definitely channels that. And for me, I thought he made it his own.
Well, he was
Yeah.
on a British daytime show recently, and he was saying, he basically they said, what are you? And he went, oh, I'm just basically a Faulty Towers-esque, like British.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
Like the British foppish sort of
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just so
18th century foppish
Foppish dandy.
But no, I thought
well.
he was fantastic.
Yeah, he was excellent.
I think we'll just say spoilers from now on, I think.
Well, I was going
Sort of,
to talk about
we're
the
diving
rest.
into a bit more.
Yeah, to talk about the rest, we'll say from this point on, it's going to be spoilery because to talk about characters and their arc, it kind of does impede on.
Yeah.
Sort of spoiler territory.
It's definitely best to go into this not knowing anything about any of the characters. We've already said that they're all hateful.
Yeah.
And they'll
But
play into that in their own
If we
way.
want to go into more detail,
And it's a very tense film because you never know what's happening or who's doing what.
yeah.
So it's definitely best to go into it.
Yeah. Or unless you're into reading everything before you go in,
Yeah.
stick along.
So spoiler,
Because also like
spoiler.
it's also like bringing back in Oswaldo. Because also one of the things that sort of really sticks you when you've seen the film, and also it's when you think back, especially back to like Oswaldo's things like, oh, can actually see your papers because you might be a villain for all we know, and it plays in so much to like how the film goes off.
Yeah, exactly. So let's start the spoilerish kind of chat with this. And can I start by saying I felt Kurt Russell's role was cut so severely short.
But that's the best thing for him.
But I was expecting it to happen to anyone because
Like
I know
putting down
Tarantino is
yeah.
a shock. All I've heard is like Tarantino tries to shock people. It's what he does. It's like whether it's the violence or whether it's how long characters are in it or what their roles are, things. But when I did think about it, although I did feel like, for example, the guy who played the general.
Bruce Dern,
I thought his arc in the story came to a
It was pretty
perfect
much
end.
perfect, yeah.
It was a perfect end.
Yeah.
He was relevant in it, and he played his role in it really well,
Yeah.
and it worked.
He was hurting, so he put him out of his misery.
But when I thought about the fact that Kurt Russell, being one of the main actors in it, he was killed pretty quickly in comparison. He died with the driver. It's like
Obie was brilliant though. I love Obie as well.
But you know what I mean? He went down pretty quick.
Yeah.
But
you say pretty
they-
quick. It was about 2 hours into the film.
yeah,
So it's
but
not
you,
that
but you know what I
quick.
mean, comparatively with the rest of the cast.
Yeah.
But I think
He died before the interval. That's not good
But
enough.
I like the fact he didn't have to finish his arc.
Yeah.
Like his arc was finished for him in a way with the way the rest of the cast worked.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought that was quite an interesting idea. Like his idea lived on through it.
Yeah.
Which was really good. But
It was a great, wholesome idea.
he was great in it. But again, you lose that. You get that sympathy for him with the way he behaves with the Lincoln letter, but you kind of lose it with the fact that he smacks a woman relentlessly at points.
Yeah.
Like it's mental. But I thought that was quite a weird one.
Yeah.
But I think also it's playing also into the time, but also like, these aren't nice people. These
Yeah,
are
exactly.
cold-blooded killers, and
And it's the nature anyone can die. No
Yeah.
actor they're not actors, they're characters, and no characters
Yeah.
above being killed.
Well, I
in the
mean,
scenario.
I think we can all agree that it is Sam Jackson's film. He's the
He's-
driving force throughout the whole thing.
he is the one
he
that you
puts his balls on the line for this, literally.
he is the one that you pretty much latch onto as close as you can in the film. He
Yeah.
does have that one
Yeah,
scene
yeah.
where it breaks your
it
kind of
flips
feeling
everything
for it.
on its head. But
Yeah. But he does have reasons for it. He does say he has. You do hear his reasons for it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's just the way it's graphically shown.
Yeah.
It does.
But
Again, though, that was a
like,
very sort of metaphorical thing they did,
And
as
also
well
very
with it.
funny. You're picturing it in your head, ain't you?
Yeah, that's what I was meaning. That was very.
you're getting pictures, aren't you?
That was a good bit of.
But I mean,
Right,
like, again, it just comes back to the whole thing. You're not supposed to like.
Yeah,
aliens.
yeah.
Like you identify with Sam Jackson because
Yeah.
black man in the frontier. It was never easy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
in the way that that was all handled in Django in a completely different way. I mean, this is post-war. This is after the war's ended.
Yeah, yeah.
The slaves are free, but they're still not
Yeah.
completely.
This
and-
backstory is really cool. Well,
Yeah.
it's like all these guys going to claim their fortune, going after this guy, and he just cuts them all down.
Yeah.
I love the North. The way they talked about without really making it a huge part of the story.
Yeah,
the
the
North-South
North-South
thing
divide,
was
yeah.
so well done, and like the way people took sides.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got so much information from just the way these people naturally converse with each other,
Yep.
or how would they be hostile. Do you not think it was really? It was. I was strangely like considering the. Like I'm just going to mention the end scene now. Considering
Yeah.
the end scene of the film is two people dying with someone hanging in front of them, I was like, it's kind of heartwarming that these two people have come together to
Yeah.
do this.
through this adverse.
But that's the thing. That's what that letter pretty much symbolized. And in
Yeah,
a weird
yeah.
way, it's like, is this strangely a heartwarming story about people like
Coming
coming
together.
together, but in the most disgusting way
Yeah.
possible?
Completely.
No, I was like, is this beautiful?
It is.
But
I just coming back again. I think it's like the script for this is what makes it. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it has the visuals, it has the performances, but it does come down.
And also as well, because he wants to bring this to theatre, and he's really keen on that. But
Yeah,
I think as
yeah.
well, also how that reacts with an audience as well.
Yeah.
Especially like if it's folk who like totally an amount of shock thing, like
Yeah.
whenever.
I know, but
happens.
the thing is, if you put this into theater, you have the audience has one fixed point. This film works really well because of
How
like I
it's
said, the
filmed,
way
yeah,
it's
yeah.
shot and the way it's filmed. It would definitely have to be changed the way it's done.
I don't think so. I mean, the way it's shot when you're inside the haberdashery, the way it is shot completely amplifies the tension, amplifies the way it's done. But theater has a different aspect to that.
And also, that'd be interesting, like seeing
So
all the characters at the same time.
You
as
have
well.
you have control. I mean, it's purposely done in the shot so you can see who's where out of shot because you're
Get that
taught from the start not
mystery.
to trust any of these people.
Yeah.
And the way it's shot is you're focusing on Kurt Russell and Jennifer Jason Leigh, but then you can see Tim Roth over there, you can see Michael Madsen over there, so they're not doing anything untoward. But then suddenly it cuts, and then like, oh, now what are they doing?
Yeah,
Like
it's selective with who is in a shot at what point,
and
who you
that
can see at what
lends
point.
itself perfectly to theater because you control the camera, I suppose. So I mean, you're
But
focusing on the key elements, but then anything could be going on behind it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still interesting to see how they would actually be able to do, again, it's maybe just the angles and how you get everything in that would be relevant to make it work. when you look at the cabin's made of 4 corners, and something happens in all 4 of those corners at different points. For example, when we go back and we see they basically go back in time and see
morning,
they're setting up everything to happen. But the issue is Michael Madsen he would be in, what was it, bottom stage. He'd be in bottom stage right, and then you would have. Was it Minnie that owned it? You'd have her at upstage right, and then there's something happening in every different corner, and the problem is certain aspects will be obscured because of what?
No, she'd be, yeah.
Right, it's
would be stage left.
It'd also be as well.
No, it'd be right because it's from where you are. It's from them looking onto the audience.
Not if you say stage left.
Stage right.
Stage right is when you're on the stage.
And he would be to the right.
No, because he's
here, and then
he's in the corner writing his book. The stage. Stage
we'll talk
right,
about this after.
Stage right,
but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
The coffee pies.
Let them fight. But you know what I mean. There's certain things obscuring it, and I'm not sure how it would work in that. But it's it's as far as who else have we missed out on the cast as well? There's the obvious one who we missed out, who is the hidden player.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum.
Magic Mike XXL.
But I thought it was good because he's not someone I would expect to be in a Tarantino film, but the way he was used was really
fantastic.
Really well done.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Brilliant.
Michael Madsen didn't stand out a huge amount to me in it.
Yeah.
He didn't look like a cowboy. He looks like a guy who bought a fancy dress costume to me in a way.
It was the hair didn't suit him, but Michael Madsen's, he is that kind of character. I mean,
because what other
Reservoir Dogs?
I was gonna say what other ones.
Yeah.
I mean, like
he tears it up in that. Like
he does, but he's a B.
Quite
He's a B
samey.
actor. He's a B actor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never gonna.
He's a support.
Yeah, but not necessarily a good support. I mean, he's great in Reservoir Dogs because he's a gangster, I suppose.
Yeah,
but I don't know. He was fine in it, but he's not stand out at all.
Yeah.
That was a nice surprise in it. Zoe Bell for Haberdashery.
Yeah, I felt so sorry for Zoe Bell.
Yeah,
I don't know why she was the one that had with him.
I felt bad for all of them.
Yeah, because they did such a good job with that tiny amount of time of making you like these group of people.
Yeah,
and just be like, no, don't do it. No.
Well, you knew who's the one coming.
I Smith, my ass is fat.
We.
But what was the other one as well? Oh, as well as that, Damien Bashir. This is his first Tarantino film, isn't it?
Is that Bob?
Yes, that's Bob. He's
Mexican
because Rodriguez recommended him to Quentin Tarantino.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was on a Rodriguez film, and Rodriguez said, "You're a Tarantino actor." Yeah. And then when Tarantino was asking for someone to fill this role, he talked to Rodriguez, and he suggested Damien Bashir.
Fair enough. Yeah, he was very good.
He was really funny with the little things he did.
Especially like you hardly ever see his face.
Yeah,
it's just this guy in a beer suit and all that.
His expression was really funny though. Like he was smiling half the time, but even the boards on the door, I was just hold up the boards.
He deals really well, like Samuel Jackson's grilling.
Yeah,
all the way through. Yeah,
it's
so good. Their interactions were some of the best ones as well.
And there's so many tension points as well. It was like
the whole film was
Bob
tense.
And
all the time.
That's my point.
When they were setting up poles to the toilet, it was tense. Like
Obi can't die out there.
The way those shot. I don't know if it's just me, but the way when they were hammering in the things, and you had the other character walking behind them, with the mallet and the spike. It's like perfectly set up just for a smack.
Even when they were in the stables, when Samuel L. Jackson and him were in the stables, everything's set up like it's a murder shot.
Exactly. That's my point.
Every time any character turned their back to someone or they were out of shot, you weren't trusting what they could be doing. Mm-hmm. So
I'm just going to say it's best live action Cluedo ever.
Exactly.
It really is.
But
who done it?
But how? Comparatively with, obviously, I can only stack this up to Death Proof. So
Death Proof definitely edges it out.
Woo! Comparatively, how do you feel this stacks with his other? Especially if you guys have seen Django. This is his second Western, so
it's better than Django.
You think it's better than Django?
Far better than Django. It's much more of a Western than Django. I mean, Django isn't really much of a Western. Do you mean in terms of look, or is in terms of look?
Yeah,
it's a revenge redemption film. Set on the backdrop of a Western.
Yeah,
it's not a genre film.
Yeah, the characters aren't from a Western. The like some of the effects are the way it's handled. I mean, it's got its own glorious shots in it, but it's not a Western as such. I mean, Tarantino. he recently came out. He's saying that you've got to be considered a director of Western films, you need to make three.
Yeah.
So that's got me
that's how he
excited
feels,
for what he does next. But overall, I mean, I never like talking about a film how it sits for me straight after I've seen it. It needs time to mellow. I need to see
You
it.
better get used to it, Mark.
No. I'm fine with discussing it. But as far as ranking it goes, I mean, right now it's not super high overall. I think it's the best script he's ever written, and it's got some of the best shots he's ever done. But overall, it's not as good to me as some of his other films. Reservoir Dogs,
especially when you can fit like 2 Reservoir Dogs into.
Yeah.
And
but then again, I'm not conventional when it comes to Tarantino film. I mean, Pulp Fiction is brilliant, but one of my least favorite.
Yeah. What about you, Irv?
Yeah, I think I'm about the same as Mark. I'm trying to think like rankings wise. I think it'd be definitely in his top 5.
Top 5, yeah.
It's better than Kill Bill, mate.
Yeah, it's better than Kill Bill.
Yeah. Death Proof, I don't know. Death Proof being the cinematic tour de force that it is, I will have to wait and see.
I think Death Proof is great. I mean,
I enjoyed Death Proof, but then I only saw it in the cinema back to back with Planet Terror, which was amazing.
Although that was one interesting thing I thought would have been really... Since they went to make a B movie, they didn't do it with a B movie budget.
Yeah.
That would have been really cool.
So it's kind of like what Mark said, how this felt more authentically like a Western, because it took a lot of the Western sensibilities into it. Because
you can really admire the craft behind it.
Exactly. This is
can you say that for Death Proof? It's like,
yes.
Especially when they use CGI to put over, as a grainy thing to make it more B movie, just to make it,
That wasn't as prevalent as in Planet Terror, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of the two, I think Death Proof was the more grindhousey film.
Yeah.
But that's another discussion.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is definitely it's a film that film classes will dissect and be able to break loads of stuff out of, because like you said, there's so much to pull out of each shot and the way it's done. So it is really interesting, that sort of thing. But it's definitely a good film. It's
a very good film. It's superb.
Yeah.
If people don't have the particular patience in the cinema, maybe they won't like it in that way. But as far as the writing goes, like you said, it's really hard to fault, because it is the dialogue particularly
stellar.
The only thing I think it could just be like trimmed a good wee bit, like not drastically, but just to make it a bit more snappier, because I do appreciate building up tension, but it's just when it just drags.
Did it
actually drag for you though?
A wee bit, yeah.
Which points dragged?
It was the first for generally. Me. It was somewhere. It was around the first part. It was the first. It was definitely before the interval. Because it
sometimes it was about 40 minutes, 50 minutes before they get to Mimi Sabadashi.
Something like that,
yeah, something like that. Because they're the two. There's at least 2 meetups, and then the whole coming out of the carriage.
Yeah.
So there's loads.
Because I can appreciate, when you look back on it and like analyze it, to set up a shot and all this sort of thing. But
he's done it with all the right reasons.
I thought like the opening's like really effective with like the Christ thing.
Oh, that long
the titles
shot.
and all that. That's really cool.
And the like vintage titles.
It's like when you're waiting for someone to just walk up to a carriage, it's like, come on, mate.
But I think that. Like if it was,
but then it plays into the allure of like who is it? And
exactly, but it lends it so much to the rest of the film, because you get a strong introduction to what are essentially the heroes of the film, shall we say?
Yeah,
you got Kurt Russell, Sam Jackson, Walton Goggins. I mean, you're introduced to them first. You get the most backstory for them, but that plays into the tension, because they arrive at the haberdashery. There's 4 or 5 other people there. You have no idea who these people. I mean,
or what's happening.
Like who these people are, why they're there. And if it had just started with the carriage arriving at the haberdashery,
that would have sucked. Yeah,
you'd have no idea who anyone was. Yeah, like if there's a 10-minute intro of Kurt Russell picking up Sam Jackson, like, oh, this is my bounty, she's bad, here we go. Then you have no idea of the backstory behind any of these characters, what their reason for doing this is.
Small talk and that.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus
it's the power of the script. That's why for me it didn't drag, because I was captivated by those scenes in the carriage.
Yeah, I was going to say the scene in the carriage was very good, because it established because of the war history they all had, it kind of established where everyone stood with each other.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, it's just
and by extension that provides backstory to.
But it's just there's a lot of stuff between that. I think that is every part that has the dialogue works really well.
Yeah,
it's just there's spaced out shots between that. All.
It just comes down to personal preference.
Yeah, but it's funny
exactly.
'cause we were like with Tarantino bros, so I think they were just expecting like everything to just kick off right away. So like,
restless.
It's one of his slower films, but
yeah.
But he's done it for artistic reasons.
Yeah,
like
there's violence, of course. You've got the violence of woman beating, but that's
yeah, but that and the N-word being dropped ridiculous amounts.
You need to see Django.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Django, I know, but you know what I mean.
If you think the N-word is used a lot in this,
and also
it's of the time.
Best juice of it is Tim Roth with his high-pitched voice.
Yeah,
it's like in the stable at the letter of Lincoln.
Yeah, it's like so high. But yeah, so should we go on to the next topic then?
Yes, briefly.
Also, that's another nice wee time though. But I think was it Jennifer Jason Leigh? She got nominated BAFTA Best Supporting Actress.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's nice to see her getting recognised for that because she put up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just thinking of like all the brains and fluids and
being in a cabin with probably what ended up being about 20 guys.
Yeah.
But then you got all the crew right in her face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But now
all the dead bodies on
our
top.
next topic, obviously carrying on. We're trying to make it that our topics will carry on with
From the
what we've kind of
reviews,
discussed. But
Yeah.
we're talking about
Great segue, Craig.
We could talk about forever. Well, I couldn't. You guys could talk about forever the
Where
rich history of
Tarantino's-
Quentin Tarantino,
Where he's come from.
so Death Proof, and but we're going to talk about where we think he could be going, because the issue is me and Mark have already discussed this and we all had different ideas because in different interviews he says different things.
But
And he changes his mind
He changes his
all the time.
mind every year. I mean, the most significant thing, like Inglourious Basterds, was supposed to be his final film, and it has there's a line, the last line in the film from Brad Pitt, like the last line in the film, like to me was
His farewells.
Tarantino's
Calling card, yeah.
Like it's you know what? I think this might be my masterpiece, and I would agree. And that was a nice way to end it. But then, less than 6 months later, he's like, "I want to make another film.
Yeah.
I want to do a western."
Yeah.
So yeah, but it'll be obviously because he says such different things. We don't know where he's going, but it's also where we would want him to go.
I like the idea of him expanding more, like taking the western another film.
Yeah,
because
he
again,
said he's definitely doing a third western. That will so far.
He didn't say definitely doing.
But he likes the
saying-
idea of being a Western director.
Yeah, he likes the idea of bringing back western into modern cinema.
Yeah.
And that was the whole reason behind the Panavision camera as well.
Yeah.
Cinema. The thing is with westerns right now, it's becoming a sort of Sundance indie film thing quite a bit right now. Like,
Yeah.
Did anybody
so
see
it's-
Bone Tomahawk?
that's the one I'd see. I never got to see that. There's
Fantastic. Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Like, looks exactly the same. He's got that glorious mustache.
Yeah.
Like, well, I suppose you need
respect for that mustache as well.
You need the widescreen Panavision to get that mustache into shot. But Bone Tomahawk came out of nowhere, and Slow West as well.
Yeah.
Slow
Mike
West.
Bass-
It's on Netflix.
There's also the one that has the I'm forgetting his name. He's the guy that plays Hannibal. It's in this TV
Mads
series.
Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen,
He there's one that came out as well in the last year with him.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember what it is. It's one word. I'm going to look it up and see. But yeah, it is becoming something that's
It makes
directors seem to want to artistically do, because
Yeah.
it's the way westerns look is different from it's like Asian cinema.
But
It
makes me wonder how many westerns have maybe come out that have been missed because
they're under the radar.
exactly Tarantino's so influential. I mean, like he's bringing western back, if you excuse the term,
Bringing it back.
But like because of that, I was looking into it. That's when I found Bone Tomahawk, and I went and saw that with Kurt Russell. It's a grim film, but it was brilliant.
Yeah,
Absolutely
Yeah,
brilliant.
exactly.
If you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so moving forward, another western would be brilliant because like Hateful Eight felt like a western to me.
Yeah.
and like you said, he's evolved from Django. You said Django was a typical Tarantino film with a western backdrop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What we got with this was a more authentic western experience.
film.
So what would he learn from this?
It had its Tarantino elements, but it was so much more reserved.
Yeah.
So what would he take from this going forward? Like if he's learning with each one, then hopefully he would carry forward and only improve on the structure.
I know, 'cause it's really funny the contrast with like Django and
Yeah.
this. Like Django's just like a full out comedy. It's so funny.
It is. It's brilliant. But I'd like to see him take on a more
A sci-fi western.
well
Cowboys versus Aliens 2.
Firefly. No, going into sci-fi is another thing. But as far as the western goes, I'd like to see him expand more into more of the open frontier. I mean, obviously we haven't seen The Revenant, but
Yeah.
that is touching on more of the frontier and what life was like to live in the frontier. It was hard. I mean, of course it's a different film, but Hateful Eight focuses on his characters, on his writing.
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice to expand more into the actual
Wider aspects.
Yeah.
of the Wild West.
Yeah.
Like, obviously he'll have his strong characters, but less character focused, more
And also be
More setting.
more setting, more event focused.
So you want it to, because that's the thing. Tarantino's always been quite dialogue focused and very much on these people. So you think it'd be quite interesting if it was more a world building sort of thing, and
not a world building as in
because it's already there.
Yeah, but expanding into it and like more historical analogy as opposed to a character
focused thing. Because in this essentially it was the cabin, and then,
which I think would be interesting for a direction for Tarantino to go.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. It's
Basically, see if that plays with his strengths, though. Being a good conversation writer, but how he'd
work within
broaden that.
It's basically if he was in a broader context, because in this the situation he was in what he wrote into this, the situation he created catered to his strengths. It very much catered to his strengths, so it'd be quite interesting to see if he went outside of that and, like you said, gave it this broader focus, but then still managed to keep those key elements focused in it, because that would be a bit of a challenge.
Exactly. I'd like to see him try something different, because I don't want another Hateful Eight. Because
this is us in a saloon now, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
But the one I was thinking of is the one I was thinking of is called The Salvation, the one with Mads Mikkelsen.
Okay.
It's called The Salvation. It was from 2014.
Was it good?
It was supposed to be quite good.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Okay.
But that was the one.
I do like Mads Mikkelsen. I'll have to give that a look.
Like a Slow West, that was 2014 as well, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was in the Sundance sort of thing a while before.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was last year I saw it. Like,
it was in the cinema release this year.
I think it was
Slow West was 2015.
Okay.
It was definitely cinema release in the last year.
Because I saw it in the Belmont.
But we think he should.
Well, it was a January release, but
we think he should do a Western next.
Yeah.
And that's most likely what he'll do.
I'm not saying he should do a Western next, but that's the most likely direction he's going to go.
I'd be happy for him to do another one.
Or he might do a different one and then maybe do a Western for his last one.
That's exactly, because he's saying he wants to do his
10
films, but again, he changes that all the time.
I know, but I do think it's just because the idea of 10's a nice number to finish on. I think that's the only idea, really.
But I mean, Tarantino is such a unique direction. He's a unique director. In the way his films are made, I think it would be a crime almost for him to retire. I mean, he could go until, he's dead.
Well, look at
seriously.
Look at a lot of iconic directors like Ridley Scott and stuff. They're all much older.
Yeah, they're much older and they're still going strong. I mean,
he's 78. It's like, you go, Rick.
Yeah, he's 78 and he's got 4 films on the go at once.
Yeah.
Can I pitch 2 questions to you? One is the rumor about him. Well, he's meant the idea that he could do a science fiction film. How do you feel about him doing a science fiction film, and how do you think he should do it?
Depends.
Yeah,
completely depends on the direction he goes.
I would like that Tarantino in space.
Well, yeah. I mean,
just call it Tarantino in space.
I think his style, the theatrical nature to his films, does lend itself a lot more to a space opera. In that,
but
in the classic sense.
Yeah. But how he would actually pull that off,
that'd just be great. Just space opera full of arseholes.
Everyone's a dick and really wisecracking.
I mean, it's difficult to say.
Imagine if Tarantino wrote Boba Fett.
Yeah. It would. God. It'd almost have to be this kind of Blade Runner grounded sort of thing. But then again, it's like you said with the Hateful Eight's playing to his strengths, but you kind of want him to see him to surprise you going outside of that. Mm-hmm. But it's because we know science fiction's quite Western has a specific idea of what a Western is.
Yeah.
Science fiction is a much broader sort of thing that the
greatest genre, one might say.
Yeah.
If you look around Mark's flat, you definitely know he's got
science fiction becomes science fact.
But the other question I was going to ask is the idea that he's mentioned going into TV, because TV obviously now TV with HBO and Netflix has really changed over the last few years, and
Yeah.
now TV is much higher budget, and it's not become this thing that television is a means of getting to film.
Yeah,
Television.
folk go from film to TV.
Yeah,
or,
television is the end game for some people,
Yeah.
and it's
and especially where it's
being better
swamping
received.
all the independent talent as well.
Plus, yeah,
you know.
you have a lot. You can have a lot more.
'Cause-
Not control, but you have a lot more space to
yeah, exactly.
Develop
ideas.
things.
Yeah, you can explore something over 13 hours rather than 3.
Yeah.
But the issue I'm going to straight away say that I don't think this could be a good thing, because
Tarantino.
Yeah, because it depends on the structure. They could George Lucas him and just say yes. But he said himself in an interview his scripts are almost always double the length,
Yeah.
and they have to be cut down. But then that's about it being pared down and restricted in.
Yeah,
If
and
he's
that's what
given
makes
the-
them so strong.
Yeah, if it's like these are the key elements, and then he just strengthens those. What happens if he's given 13 hours to write what he
Yeah.
wants into it?
The Hateful 8 over 13 hours.
The Hateful 13 hours.
No one dies until episode 9.
It's all build up for 12 episodes, and then everything happens in the last 15 minutes of episode 13.
No one says a thing till like episode 8. Oh,
That was the best 15 minutes I've ever seen a 13 episode series. But
Well, I mean, he's such a strange man. He's no way of telling where he's going to go. But whatever he does, I think will work.
everyone will
I
watch
have-
it.
Exactly. I have no.
Whether it'll be well received is a
Yeah.
different thing. But what if imagine if he had the death proof pacing or the death proof structure to a 13 episode TV series? But I'm not sure about that one. That's the thing. I have to go back. I'm lucky. I get to watch more of his films.
You should
Like,
watch more of his films. You should watch them all.
I have good ones to go into. So
Just start with Reservoir Dogs and
Work your way up.
Just go because
Yeah.
it like they obviously they don't tie into each other, but
yeah,
you can
there's
see
little
how
ties into some
you
of
can
them.
see how
Yeah,
his
yeah.
how his filmmaking develops, especially by the time you hit Kill Bill, which is a complete like volume 1, complete turns everything on its head and it's glorious.
yeah. He does like tackling these genre films.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
exactly.
So you think that's good? I think that's a good point to
Yeah,
conclude
I think
everything.
so.
Yeah,
Call it
I was
good.
thinking of a good way to like rate the film is that we have underwhelming, whelmed, and overwhelmed, and then we each say what we thought it was out of those 3.
And we do an average.
Yeah,
Overwhelmed because it was much more than I thought it was going to be, because of the development hell it went through. And
Yeah.
I didn't think the script was going to be as strong as it was. But again, it's the honeymoon period for me. I need
Yeah.
time to
Let it sit.
let him out. But
Yeah.
I was captivated through the whole thing, and I didn't expect it to be, because I went in the same idea as you guys came out with. It's a long film.
Yeah.
It's got an interval. Like, am I going to be able to watch this? But sat there for nearly 4 hours once you get past the
Interval.
interval and the
Trailers
and all that.
The long trailer.
But I
we've
was
got Dolby.
no, I was captivated the whole way through.
Yeah.
So overwhelmed.
I'm gonna say between whelmed and overwhelmed, because looking back on it, it's one of those
You're
things. that
you're adding another definition. You can't do
You can't
that.
do that, Craig.
Okay, well, I will say overwhelmed because I was going in expecting Death Proof. So I was going in expecting this shit platter, and they gave me pate.
Leave it alone.
And they gave me pate. But no, I like that's the thing. Looking back on it, I appreciate it much more because of a lot. I remember all the strong parts,
Yeah.
and they were he did things well that a lot of other films wouldn't even get near to.
Yeah.
Even if it was stretched over a long period of time, I still think it was a very good film.
Yeah. Underwhelmed. That was shit. Nah,
Always
jokes.
has to be the
No,
salty
no,
one.
Yeah.
no.
So I'll bring it down to.
You
film.
always take our second answer. His first one's a joke.
So your true answer?
I was sort of between like whelmed and overwhelmed.
You can't do that because
again-
apparently I'm not allowed a middle genre.
You can't come up with the.
But you can't.
definition.
I know,
Wait.
but-
No, if he says whelmed, then we pick an average and it's in the middle.
Yeah, but more towards the overwhelmed. So.
Yeah,
true.
But I'll say like I'll switch to over because you've got to admire the craft behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a like I said, it's a filmmaker's sort of dream. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
got all these artistic elements to it.
And also that does tick the Western box because
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
but especially like what Western would you
Something-
rather watch? Something that's like really boring with sheriffs, and or would you rather watch this where everyone kills
So it's
everyone?
very much entrenched in
Yeah.
what it's
In
yeah,
Tarantino lore, as it were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also the script. Yeah, script's fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic.
All right, that's a good.
But you killed Kurt Russell.
Everyone kills Kurt Russell.
Gary is in the next room and he hasn't seen it.
Die in Fast 7. He's coming
Okay.
back.
But yeah,
Thanks, guys.
good point to end. Woo!